Now entering King's Row.
Hi, I'm 5 and we're going to be looking at how to bounce with Wrecking Ball. If you've seen or done a bounce with Doomfist, this is pretty much the same tech, but what we're bouncing off is completely different most of the time. This tech is quite situational in that you're going to need to either remember a bunch of spots where you can bounce, or develop an eye for finding spots that you can bounce off on the fly. We're going to be starting with the red post box on King's Row, because it's the same shape from all directions, so we don't need to worry about the angle of approach and can instead focus on getting our timing right. Something that might throw you off when you're trying to learn this is that you're still using some of your muscle memory from wall climbs. We really don't want to be slowing ourselves down for bounces, and I'm holding W the whole time as I slam into this letterbox. Even though the techs feel related, the timing and movement are completely different, so you've got to be sure which one you're going for as you approach the object. Grappling in a straight line and holding W down, the only thing that you can be messing up at this point is your jump timing, and that's just something that you're going to have to get a feel for. If you're not managing a bounce at all, then just try jumping earlier. Jumping too early is just going to give you less height, where jumping too late gives you no result at all, and maybe you're questioning if you've got other things wrong with what you're doing. We want to be hitting the object while airborne at top speed in Fireball, and that's going to send us flying up vertically. You should be able to jump right up to this window without too much practice, and then we can move on to a more interesting object that's going to need a more specific angle of approach. If you're happy with how you're timing your jump, you can come to first point and try and bounce off this London taxi. There are a few angles that work for this, but I've had the most success with aiming towards the back end of the car, and you can get a lot of airtime from objects with sort of curved corners like this. Once you've bounced off this a few times, you're going to start getting an idea for what angles work and what don't. Try going out of your way to find an angle that won't work and see if you're right about that. And this is where that memorization aspect comes into the tech, because each object that you're going to come across might have sort of different quirks to it. I've got another video that's literally 5 minutes of bounce after bounce on different maps, and you could have a look through that to find an object that you're interested in being familiar with and practicing bounces on that if you think you could use it for pile drivers or using your ultimate from. Bounceable objects definitely have things in common, and you'll get an eye for that as you use the tech more and more. And there are definitely objects that are more forgiving and objects that are really difficult to bounce from. And I'm going to leave you with this bounce on Dorado as something quite consistent and rewarding. There's a big rounded corner you can be aiming for, and the bridge to the right makes a good goal for measuring your progress.